Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's me, Mr. FSP, doing what I do for you all day, every day. Listen, I'm trying to get my background not to cut my entire face off, but I'm in a new location and everything else. But anyway, I'm here to bring you the best information possible. And honestly, best information you can get with a long history of doing it. Been doing this for what? I started in 2008. So yeah, about 16 years now. And giving you the best that I got. Giving you the best that I got, baby. I'm not Rita Baker, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm gonna give myself an applause. Because that's like my reference to the Joker Part 2. But anyway, what up, House? My brother Calvert, House Pendergast. How you doing, brother? Anyway, we're going to talk especially about his Raiders. We're going to talk about the Raiders, the Commanders, Jaden Daniels in particular. I'm going to go over the NFL schedule. Look, let's just jump into the Raiders situation. Last year, if you recall, Mr. Adams, Davante Adams, was one of the biggest supporters outwardly of Antonio Pierce. He and Max Crosby were just like, hey, we got to get McDaniel out of here. You know, AP know what's up. Fast forward to this year, apparently during a game a couple weeks back, Antonio recognized some players were making business decisions on the field, either not going for a ball, not doing something. And he brought it up. It was brought up during the press conference, and he talked about it. Next thing you know, Davante Adams has this hamstring injury that keeps him out last week and will keep him out this week. Fast forward a week. Now, hey, House is a Raiders fan. You can't tell by the logo. He's a Raiders fan, and he's tired of the drama. I feel you. But there's a lot more drama coming, brother, because now Davante has been brought up in trade talks. The Raiders have opened up the possibility of trading him. And while he's not being active, they're preserving him so that he does not get injured and preventing compensation. Now, the one team that would give the Raiders whatever they want for him is in their conference, in their division. And they need a Davante Adams. And if you give Pat Mahomes Davante Adams, you might as well just write a check to every fan because they're going to stop watching football because the Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl. Again, Worthy, Travis Kelce came back on last week because interception Pat threw. Rasheed Rice was trying to make the tackle, and Pat, it was fratricide. Pat rolled up and messed up his knee. Look, It was an accident. But Rashee Rice is about to be out the rest of this year. And depending on his court case, he might be out next year or even longer. This might be the end of his career. So, as I was saying, the one team, the Raiders, could easily get whatever they wanted from the Chiefs, who are in the division, and their hated rival needs them. But you cannot give the Chiefs Davante Adams. My opinion, no. Davante says he wants to go to a place where he's familiar with the quarterback. It's only two places. The Saints and the Jets. Now, the Jets are very right now. When you have their young star receiver saying he wishes the offense opens up a little more because it's too vanilla, that's not good. But Adams knows Rodgers. And we see what happens when Rodgers knows you in the offense. He throws you the ball. Allen Lazard leads that team in targets. I believe he also leads them in receptions, and he also leads them in touchdowns. Allen Lazard. Okay? So if the Jets, I don't know how much capital they have. I have no idea. But if the Jets have capital and are able to get Davante Adams, that's a big, big, big win for them. But then that also stunts the growth of the young receiver who's done well with multiple quarterbacks, gets one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and isn't doing well. I don't know what the problem is there. But you insert Davante Adams and boom. You've got Adams, Lazard, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall at running back, the young kid Allen, the rookie running back, Tyler Conklin and the rest of them, they can just stay there and block. You don't need to have – you got three main receiving threats right there. Make Conklin and the tight ends be that sixth blocker and the check down. But we'll see if that happens. Now, if you send them to the NFC, which I think is the better move, because anything can happen, right? But if the Jets make the playoffs, which I think they are, and if the Raiders make the playoff, anything's possible. They may see each other. That can come back to bite them in the butt. Only way the Raiders would not be bitten in the butt this year by trading Davante Adams is they send him to the NFC, the different conference. And in the South, it's a lot of open space there. I know the Falcons lead the South right now, and I picked the Falcons to win the South. But Derek Carr with Davante Adams, Chris Olave, now that Rashee guy, he's a good gadget guy or a good speed guy. But now you move Olave to that speed position, Adams at the X, and you have Olave at the Z. And Alvin Kamara, who was having a wonderful year the first couple of weeks. And I think he'll get back on that horse. But you add Adams to the Saints? That is a dangerous mixture of receivers there. Now, my team, the Commanders, have also come up in the conversation, and I'd love to see Adams play with us, but I'd rather the Commanders grab T. Higgins next year, because if you get Davante Adams this year, he's going to want an extension, right? And what are you trading away to get him? If it's a low third or 4th round pick because he's 31. Got to remember that. He's a 31-year-old receiver, but he's got immense talent. Immense talent. And Washington is struggling to find a number 2 receiver. What that would do is Adams becomes a number 1 and Terry becomes a number 2. Terry, in my opinion, is a number 1. But you bring in Davante Adams. Davante Adams is clearly the better receiver, has more seasoning. I would venture to say better hands, route running. And I think he assimilates any offense. Both of them were 17, though. So I don't know what number Davante would wear, but he ain't getting 17. Sorry. Not going to happen. Bro, y'all not getting Alvin Kamara. Y'all not getting Alvin Kamara for Davante. I know Alvin's up on his contract, so I can see where you're coming from with that house. I really can, because it makes sense. Both players are up on contracts. Both players are a little older. The running back, though, has a lot more wear and tear on him than that wide receiver. And you put Alvin Kamara behind the offensive line, he's not going to do much better than Zamir White and Matson. The Raiders need to fix their offensive line. That's what I see. I don't see it being a Gardner Minshew problem. I don't see it being a Sullivan or whatever his name is problem. I see the offensive line is not doing enough to make holes for the running back where Gardner Minshew has to throw the ball. Because think about it this way. Brock Bowers was the leading receiver for the Raiders. You're a rookie tight end, but you got Davante Adams out there. He's number 2 in receptions on that team behind a rookie tight end. Give the Raiders an offensive line fix with the same players they have. If Davante stays there, even better. Fix the offensive line, and you got an easy fix. Now, here's what I also say. Since I got House here, you guys can literally get Shadur Sanders next year. I know Deion said that he's not going to let his son go anywhere. He's going to pull an Eli and all this other stuff. That's fine and dandy. But if the Raiders draft Shadur Sanders, who is part of the ownership or supposed to be part of the ownership of the Raiders? Tom Brady. Who has Shadur Sanders often given his credit to for his success? Tom Brady. My point is this. If the Raiders continue to go down this path that they're going down, right? People don't want to get Shadur because they don't want all the stuff that comes with him, but they're passing on one of the great athletes. They'd rather get Brock Ewers or Ewers from Texas, the college quarterback, than Shadur. Some people are putting Ward from your University of Miami above Shadur. I'm like, no, Ward's a big dude. He is Cam Newton. I will concede that with a little bit better accuracy. But he doesn't give you what Shadur does. Shadur has that mental. He has that mental. So if you trade away Alvin if you trade away Davante to get Alvin, nobody gets better. If you get Shadur, you get better, but you also got to get him an offensive line. So my opinion is this with Davante Adams. You trade him away, you get the draft picks. You're not going to get that many wins, unfortunately. You then find a way, because they wanted Jaden Daniels, right? They really wanted Jaden Daniels. We really wanted Caleb Williams. Chicago, we didn't move on Caleb. We didn't move on Jaden. I'm thankful. I'm very thankful because I'm skeptical of Jaden. But Jaden has a maturity about him. He is what I believe Shedeur is going to be in the pros. Honestly. But if the Raiders get Shedeur and Tom Brady is still a part of that organization, guess who's going to be his quarterback coach unofficially? Guess who's going to listen to? And I guarantee you this, Dion won't leave Colorado because he knows Uncle Tom, not trying to be funny about it, but Uncle Tom is still working with his son. Just my thought. But Davante Adams has put himself in a position where if he does move, it's probably not going to be where he wants to go. Would it be right to give the player something they're requesting? Yes. But what allegiance other than fandom? Because he grew up loving the Raiders, right? But outside of that, Davante Adams has shown the Raiders no, I'm not going to say loyalty, but no reason for them to take care of him. None. He has not been invested in the team that much. Just my thoughts. But Davante Adams he's another player that I would love to have on my team, but what comes with him? You know, is he okay going to Washington with a rookie quarterback and a team on the rise, but not at the level where he wants to be? Because again, at 31, 32, 33, it's like he don't care about it. He wants to win a championship. He wants to put another ring on his finger. So it is what it is. With that being said, House says, yes, I believe in this. Brother, this is what I see. This is what I see. Speaking of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, I want everybody to pump their brakes on Jaden Daniels. Right now, the Commanders are 3-1. The next 4 games, I believe they'll win all but one. Cleveland this week, Baltimore the next, the Giants, and someone else. I can't remember who else it is. But if Washington can continue to do what they're doing, I only see them losing to Baltimore. Honestly. Jaden Daniels, I sat in the stadium this past Sunday when Washington came to play Arizona. Had my Washington gear on and everything. I got to see how that dude processed the field. If you ever get a chance to get like season tickets anywhere or go to a football game, sit in the end zone if you are a football coach or football aficionado. Sit corner, end zone, wherever. 50-yard line is great if you want to see the players up close and all that other stuff. That's great. But sit in the end zone view, a little elevated, so you can see a play. So you can dissect what the play is and what the players are doing. This is why coaches at the pro level, college, and some high school, they get the all 22 version of it or the end zone version of a game. Because from that perspective, you can see everything. And what I saw from Jaden Daniels was the young man can go through his reads. But what I see him doing is he is projecting where his read's going to be when he walks up to the line. He's read the defensive coverage. Now, during the Arizona game, he did try to force the ball to Terry McLaurin, and that's why he threw that interception. But It was also behind Terry. Another story, another day. But he's a very cerebral, athletic quarterback. That's why I said Shedeur, when he comes to the NFL, that's how he's going to be. If not for Travis Hunter, who I think is going to win the Heisman, Shedeur should be a top 3, top 4 candidate and possibly win. Now, can you have 2 candidates from the same school? Nothing says you can't. But Jaden Daniels is showing Shedeur how to take his game from college to the pros. And again, it's 4 games. 4 games. The one game they lost, you really didn't get to see how he handled that adversity, because the following game they won. They came out, they played well, and they won. What's going to happen is when Washington gets to that, because I believe they'll be 7-2. Okay? They already played 4 games. The next 5 games, I got them winning 4 of the 5. That's 7-2. Last year, they didn't get to 7 wins, I don't think. I think we only got to like 4 or 5 wins. But the offensive play calling by Cliff Kingsbury has made it so that Jaden Daniels can process the plays and decipher the defenses on this level a lot quicker. I saw a lot of mirror routes. What do I mean by mirror routes? The same thing that you have going on your left side is the same thing you got going on your right side. So if you recognize that defense, depending on where you want to throw the ball and that coverage, either going to dump it here or there or here or there. But it's going to be the same route. Brock Purdy, his first year, if you noticed, go back and look at tape. There were a lot of flood routes. The NFL has gone to flood route running in offense. A flood route is where you send most of your eligible receivers to one side or one section at different levels. So the quarterback knows I'm going to go to the left, but I got check 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, 3, or however they want to do it. That's what happened with Jaden. He's getting mirrors, and he's getting different concept routes, which is amazing to me that this young man is processing this. I know he won the Heisman. He had Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., but they didn't win a whole lot at LSU. They didn't win a lot when he was at ASU in college. But I think he's going a lot here. But that's my talk for Jaden Daniels, Davante Adams. If you got any comments, please post them in the chat. I'll bring them up. Or if you want to come on, not a problem. Just let me know. Shoot me a private message or a message in the chat saying, hey, I would like to come on and give my comments, so on and so forth. But remember, if you come on and give your comments, there's always going to be some comeback or some discussion that happens. It's not just going to be, I'm going to say my piece and dog out this person, that person. No, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to make a comment myself. So just be prepared for that. But with that being said, let's move in to our great picks for the week. All right. This first game coming up, listen, it's in London. We're looking at the Jets, who I talked about earlier, struggling to get everything together, going against the surprisingly undefeated 4-0 Minnesota Vikings. Now, I've been privy to conversations where, again, Minnesota Viking fans have said the Vikings, this is before the season started. This is before even McCarthy or Donald was, said to be the quarterback, selected to be number one. They were saying 12-4, 13 and not 12-4, 12-5, 13 and 4, and all these outlandish records. Are they outlandish? I'm going to tell you right now, Minnesota's winning on the strength of their defense. Their defense is causing turnovers. Their defense is getting after the quarterback. They're stopping the run, more importantly, and that causes for Brian Flores, however you want to pronounce it, to let loose and let his guys play. Remember, it's only been a year, a year since they changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That defense is coming after you. Then I had to got you. But when you think about Sam Darnold and how he has not been successful in the NFL up until this point, someone used to say, you got a quarterback whisperer, quarterback coach in Minnesota. You can say that. I think that coach runs a system that Sam Darnold is very good at. Very good at. Think about it. They just won this past Sunday, and Sam Darnold threw 2 interceptions against Green Bay. But Green Bay couldn't do anything. It was the defense, not Sam Darnold. Now, I get it. Sam Darnold is a good contributor to the Minnesota Vikings' wins this year. But that defense has been bailing Minnesota out. You see the lopsided scores. Well, if the defense gets the ball on the opponent's 30, which they've been doing a lot, you're going to get a field goal opportunity and touchdown opportunities. Great play calling, great play design, you're going to get some stuff happening. Just are. But in this game, it's overseas, it's in London. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern. So for my time, it's like 6 a.m. Pacific or Mountain Time. It's going to be rainy again, just like when they lost to the Denver Broncos last week. No one called that except the Denver Broncos. They didn't score a daggone touchdown. I think the score was like 10-9 or 9-6 or something like that. I don't know what it was. Breece Hall has got to get the ball. Allen has got to get the ball. Wilson has got to get the ball. But against that defense, it's going to be tough. Tough. But I got to go with the Jets. Right, here we go. Next game up. All right. This was supposed to be a cakewalk. Let me take something to drink on that. It was supposed to be a cakewalk. However, Carolina switched to Andy Dalton. And guess what? He's not a rookie now, but Leggett and Deontay Johnson, they're making plays. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, making plays. I thought the offensive line was garbage. But Carolina is not that bad. I'm inclined to say after 2 games now, only 2 games, it possibly was Bryce Young. Now remember, Carolina gave Chicago everything they wanted, plus Mr. Moore to jump up and get Mr. Young. This was supposed to be Bryce Young versus Caleb Williams. Both Carolina picks, but Chicago got Carolina's pick last year or this year. Caleb Williams has not been as bad as it looks. However, Caleb seems to be the offensive line is like Swiss cheese. It really is. DeAndre Swift found a way to run the ball last week. What happened then? Chicago found a way to throw the ball. There is no identity of this team. Are they a passing team, a run team, or a balanced team? You don't know. It's a team that goes from week to week deciding what they're going to do. And this is just me as an offensive coordinator and as somebody that just believes in the old school way of playing football. I'm going to run my plays regardless of what defense you're in. Because I know my guys can execute these plays better even when you already know it's coming. I'm not a guy that says, okay, we're going to change the game plan. We're going to pass 48 times today and not run the ball, but like 10 times. Not knocking Atlanta because they beat Tampa Bay that way this past Thursday. But if I got Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, but I'm going to say a but here, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' entire secondary is out, I might throw 50-something times a game because that's their weak point. But I'm going to make sure Bijan gets that rock more than 10 times in that game. That's just me. In this game, we got to see if Carolina decides to run Miles, to run Chuba, to set up the pass for Deontay and Leggett, because Chicago has a very, very good pass defense, but very poor run defense. Very poor. If Carolina can run the ball or decides to run the ball, I think they got a great shot at pulling off the upset. Chicago should win this game. This should not be a debate. This should not be a conversation. Chicago, every level, has a better player. Some might say that Moore and Johnson are kind of equal, or Johnson's a little above them. But at every position, Chicago is superior. But I think Chicago's going to struggle to win this game. I really think they're going to struggle to win this game. But I'm going to pick Chicago to win this game. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Okay. Look. The Kang is back. I'm kind of glad that I don't have to defend King Henry, who happens to be leading the NFL in rushing. Because too many people think they know too much, and they don't. They're good at what they do, but King Henry is proving all those people wrong. He proved the Cowboys wrong by running over them. Jerry Jones didn't believe in King Henry. King Henry ran over him. Buffalo had a good defense. King Henry ran all over him. Washington ran the ball like crazy over Cincinnati. It came down to passing, though. But Brandon Robinson Jr. had a hell of a game. And he's not King Henry, but he's King Henry-esque. The build, the style of running. Baltimore is going to win this game for Cincinnati. And I hate to see Cincinnati, go through this. You got Chase and T and all that other stuff. They finally get a win last week. But Baltimore's going to lay them to rest. The King, Derrick Henry, is going to go off. Now, Lamar, he doesn't do well in Cincinnati when they play Cincinnati. I'm not banging on Lamar having a good game. I think they're going to go back to just pound the King, try to get Mark Andrews involved. I don't understand why Mark Andrews has not been involved as much. He hasn't caught a lot of passes that were thrown his way, but he hasn't had a lot of passes thrown his way either. The volume is significantly low, and I wouldn't have thought that coming in. Matter of fact, I did not think that coming into this season. If anything, I thought Derrick Henry's presence would increase his volume. I was wrong. I can admit it. I can admit when I'm wrong. But can others? I don't know. But the King is the King. Next game up, Buffalo at Houston. Now, something I've said last week, and I know I was rushed off the air last week because I had some things I had to take care of with the house. But I said before we went off the air, Buffalo would not win the next 4 games. And last week, they got destroyed. Level of competition was not the same in their first few games. Houston is a way better team. Houston is a way more physical team than Buffalo. Buffalo has Josh Allen, God bless him, and Mr. Cook is doing well. They don't have a defined receiver, which can work out in their favor. Dalton Kincaid is that top target right now. Now, the whole deal about Stephon Diggs returning and or playing against Buffalo, it's going to be something. Tank Dell is questionable to out, leaning toward out. Last week when Tank Dell wasn't there, I think Diggs got like 11 targets, and Nico Collins still led the team in targets. Now, Houston lost, but they're going to beat Buffalo this week. I listen, whether it's Cam Akers, but definitely if it were Joe Mixon, Houston is a better offense. They have better defensive players, and their level of play is higher than than Buffalo's. Buffalo is in for it. I'm telling you, they're not going to win because, look, man, they lost to Kansas City. They're going to lose to Houston. They're going to lose to Baltimore. I mean, all I can tell you is the next 4 games or the next 3 games, life for Buffalo ain't been no crystal stair. There's a lot of holes in them. All right, Houston. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. This just became an interesting game. The reason why it became an interesting game is because Jonathan Taylor's not playing. And Sermon is starting at tailback. Flacco might start at quarterback, should start. excuse me. Again, after 4 games, just like last year, Anthony Richardson is iffy to doubtful, possibly out. And if he's out, Flacco and Pittman are going to have a field day. They're going to have a field day. Now, look, I like Joe Flacco. I like the fact that he's going to spread the ball around. He's going to help the offense get where they got to go. Without Jonathan Taylor, no go, Ghost Rider. Jacksonville is desperate. They're desperate. They're 0-4. Doug Peterson knows he don't get a win convincingly. He's probably out the door before the bye week. You have no excuses, even though you actually do, but you really don't. The fan base is restless. Travis Etienne is a good running back, getting used up. But that money you gave Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence ain't worth it. And he's showing you. But he might get one of his favorite targets back, or his favorite target back, Evan Ingram. Think about this. The 4 games that they've lost, Evan Ingram has not played. Evan Ingram, or he played in one, and I think the first one, but got injured pregame going into week 2. If Evan Ingram isn't there, it's like he doesn't have trust in the receivers other than Christian Kirk. But Christian Kirk can't beat, 2 double coverage. Brandon or Brian Robinson or Thomas, I can't think of his name, Brian Thomas Jr., young rookie. He's a young rookie bull, and he's good. But he's not going to make that big of an impact for Jacksonville to win the game for Jacksonville. I'm going to call it upset here because I honestly believe without Jonathan Taylor, the Colts are in trouble. With Evan Ingram, the Jaguars start looking like they're supposed to look. And I got the Jaguars in this game. New England, Miami. Look. Miami laid a big-ass egg Monday night versus Tennessee. They let Kyle Rudolph come in and beat them. And it looked like the team quit in the 4th quarter. Having Tyreek, having Waddle, having a chain means nothing if the quarterback can't get them the ball. Teams aren't going to worry about your passing game because they're not worried about your quarterback. They're going to stop the run. And stop the run they have. Now, Miami's supposed to get Mostert back this week. He'll be splitting time with Devin Achane. I don't know if Achane has taken over the starting job. I wouldn't be surprised. Mostert is a beast. I love him. But that pounding takes its toll on you. It really does. It really does. So we'll see what happens. But Miami, until you get your quarterback back, well, and Tua, that's another story. Tua is retiring. What is Miami going to do? When he clears concussion protocol, what are they going to do? Put him back on the field and possibly have another case where a player may die on national TV? And the Patriots aren't as bad as I thought, but they're making a position change at running back. Ramondre Stevenson, who a lot of people drafted as their number 1 running back, is now relegated to number 2 as Gibson becomes a number 1. That tells me they're going to throw the ball more because Gibson is a better pass catcher than Stevenson. And because of that, he gets a lot of play especially when the Patriots are losing. I'm picking the Patriots to win this game. No faith in Snoop Huntley or any other quarterbacks that's not named Tua. But again, you're not forcing Tua to retire. You can't. You should, but you can't. Next game up, easy game. I wish somebody was here to talk it over with me because they talked a lot of trash during the preseason, during the offseason. Just have my money ready, Mr. Taylor. I ain't going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'm glad Nick Chubb is not ready to come back this week, maybe next week or week after next. But Washington's on a heater. Like I said earlier, these next 4 to 5 games, I see him winning them all except Baltimore. So, then you talk about it, Washington over Cleveland. Raiders in Denver. Now, look, I told you guys about how I feel with Davante Adams in a situation. The Raiders without Davante Adams, they have Jacoby Myers as their number 1 receiver. Brock Bowers, still number 1 target. Then I forgot the other young kid's name that's a receiver there, but Myers is not a number 1. And if you can't, get a short-handed number 1 receiver, I'm stacking a box. That's just me. Until you prove otherwise, I'm stacking a box and making it hell for you to run the ball when your offensive line is already not that good. Denver's defense, by the way, is not bad. Patrick Surtain, best cornerback in the league. Patrick Surtain Jr., I should say. Best quarterback in the league. He's not paid. I think he just redid his contract, but he's going to shut down Jacoby Myers. Then what else? And Denver, surprisingly, is doing well. Sloppy, nasty win against the Jets, like I said earlier. But they get another win. Denver moves to 3-2. They beat the Raiders, who are in disarray. Arizona travels to San Francisco. San Fran, this is a trap game. I'm going to tell you that right now. It is a trap game. Y'all already had a trap game last week when the Rams came in and beat y'all. It's going to happen again. Here's why. Here's why. I know Brandon Ayuk is the number 2 receiver, and Deebo Samuel is the number 1. I know Mason is the lead back now that CMC's out for an undisclosed amount of time now. Might be for the season. Might be his career. Who knows? But George Kittle is back. But I don't think y'all understand that the 49ers are not that good. I'll give credit where credit is due. Mr. Taylor said that the 49ers would not repeat. The 49ers aren't that good. Based off the first 4 games, I agree. The 49ers do not look that good. They've won 2 games, but not in convincing fashion. They've lost 2 games in convincing fashion. You let a team with no bona fide number 1 receiver and shaky defense storm all the way back and beat you? Can't do it. I'm going with Arizona. Upset. Green Bay at the Rams. Look, Jordan Love came back a lot sooner. A hell of a lot sooner than expected. That could be a good thing and a bad thing, because if he gets hit wrong, he's going to be gone a lot more. You got to think about this. it's a hell of a leap for that guy to come back after spraining, tearing, whatever he did, his knee in 2 weeks. Modern medicine's crazy. Matthew Stafford, God bless you, brother, but Green Bay's going to kick y'all ass. Just going to keep it 100% here. Green Bay wins this game. Giants at Seattle. Malik Neighbors might not play this game. And they just said that Singletary is doubtful. Do I need to say anything else? Give me 1 second, guys. All you need to know is if Malik Neighbors ain't playing, I don't care who else the receivers are. Malik Neighbors takes coverage away from them so they can be successful. With no Malik Neighbors, those guys are screwed. Without Devin Singletary, Tucker's a good running back. He flashed in the preseason. He did. But I don't think Seattle. Now, most of their defensive players, like their entire defensive line and a linebacker or two, didn't play versus Detroit and almost beat Detroit. Those players are back this week. Do you think New York stands a chance? Not a chance. I got Seattle all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Let's go Dallas and Pittsburgh. Look, I'm not a big Justin Fields fan. Not at all. Not at all. Justin Fields is a very talented young athlete, but I'm not a big fan of his. And when I mean I'm not a big fan of his, I don't think the kid is a starting quarterback in the NFL. You take away the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, Justin Fields looks the same like he did in Chicago. He is not okay. He did win the game versus the Colts. I will say that. I would also say against Dallas, Dak and company, they're in trouble. They struggled versus the Giants. That's the last time we saw them. Giants defense ain't nowhere near as good as Pittsburgh's defense. Nowhere near. I got to go with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a true. I was talking to a guy in a store this past week. And I was, dogging about Pittsburgh and whatnot. But of course, there's 6 Bergs. They got 6 Lombardis. But the one thing you count on with Pittsburgh, they're going to run the ball, which Dallas struggles with. And they're going to play defense, which Dallas can't do that much with. Pittsburgh, all day, every day. Interesting game on Monday night as we wrap this up. New Orleans and Kansas City. On paper, New Orleans should win this game. If Rashee Rice was healthy, I would say easy. Pat Mahomes and company. But Rashee Rice is out. Xavier Worthy is the number 1 receiver. They're waiting on Christian Watson and a few others to step up. Travis Kelce was spotted last week. You can expect that again. Kareem Hunt came off the couch Didn't look too bad. You give him another week of work before the game? Kansas City wins this game. I love Derek Carr. I love Alvin Kamara. I love Chris Olave. But right now, it's going to be tough. Excuse me. It's going to be a tough game. Let me just put it that way. Tough game. But I saw the Eagles without freaking AJ Brown. Half the game without Davante Smith. Go up and down the field versus that New Orleans defense. But Nick Sirianni made that game way closer than it should have been. Way closer. The Eagles should have won that game by 20 because they had field goal opportunities and Jalen threw an interception in the red zone. But they got in the red zone so many times, but Nick Sirianni chose to go for the first down instead of the field goal. What do you think Pat's going to do? Pat and company's going to execute. If that happens, New Orleans is in trouble. In trouble. Those are my picks for the week. I didn't give you a 6-pick lock because the last couple times I did that, didn't do so well. But I might do it next week. What we have right now is the first quarter of the NFL season is gone. 3 more quarters to go. Who's going to be the big mover? Who's going to be the shaker? And what trades are going to be made? What trades are going to be made? We shall see. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming, tuning in. My guy House for chiming in on the message board. I appreciate that, my friend. And again, I appreciate you all. I'll see you back here next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel. I'm out. Oh no, I messed up again. I messed up again. Ah! Okay. All right. Take 2. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you next week. I'm out. Run it again. Let's run that one more time.
Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Get ready to rumble!
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
The other dude's holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Derek's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not